Welcome back to the Unit 2 of this module. So in this unit, we're going to be discussing conditional statements and loops. But first, we'll start with primitive data types, which are just your basic data types. I'm also going to explain further how you can arrange your programs. It's very hands-on, and like we did last week, I have decided to separate the theoretical aspect, which I call the reading, to the practical aspect, which I call the practice. For the practice, you have to get hands-on. You have to check it that it works on your laptop. However, this video we're going to be releasing in Unit 2 is to make sure that I show you how it works on my machine, and you can go and replicate it on your machine. All right. So in this unit, I'm going to have a few these items. However, the videos for this week should cover only primitive data types, conditional statements, and loops. That said, let's go straight to practice. As for the readings, I'm going to leave that to you. You do the readings. Any questions, you direct to your tutors, and we continue from that point. So straight to practice. What do we have for the practice? So like I said, this week we're doing primitive data types, conditional statements, and loops. I'm going to be showing you real-life examples of those things. However, the practice would guide us in how we navigate those topics. So here I have primitive data types, primitive types and operators, conditional statements, and loops. So 1, 2, 3. These are the things we're covering. All right. So I'll go back up here. This is the practice for the week. You're going to get it as a PDF on Blackboard, and you can click and fiddle around. All right. So primitive data types. I jump straight to one. First section. All right. Again, you've seen most of the things that I have here. What I'm going to be doing, I'll discuss this, and I'll pop up my Visual Studio, and I'll try to execute some of these things so that you can see how it works. So, again, I've explained namespaces to you, classes. One thing I would like to show you also is that, so I'm going to collapse this main method here, is that I can have as many classes as I want in my namespace. So let's say I have a class called do something. I'll just say class, do something. All right. And that's another class. And I can have another class here, class just demo. Demo. Again, the whole idea is that your class allows you to arrange your code. It allows you to organize your programs. So we're going to talk about object orientation much later on, but for now we want to introduce you to C# so that we don't complicate things at first, because the goal right now is that you are able to write the same programs you were able to write with Python now in C# before we not tell you more functionalities that C# has in terms of programming paradigm, in terms of object orientation, inheritances, and all of that, blah, blah, blah. All right. So that said, I'm just going to jump back to this, okay, let me collapse this panel, to our practice. So basically, that's what is discussed here. You can read through. I'm going to go straight. Now, your main method does not need as a parameter, so this is your main method. Okay, let me just remove these lines of code. This is from the previous demos I showed you. So this is your main method or your main function. This is the entry point of your program. What does that mean? It means that when you run your program, everything you put here is what's going to run first. If you want to run something else, you better reference that thing from here. So like you call that other method or you call that other function, and it's going to work. So you can see that it has this parameters, and I explained to you in the last video that I was going to explain to you what it means. This is the type, all right? And this is the variable. So it's saying to you that this argument, or args, it's called args, is a string, but an array at the same time. So an array of string. So at your entry points, you can pass parameters from other parts of your project, or other projects, or anywhere else, straight to your main method, or your main function. So you can pass this, and then inside your code here, you can then make use of console, the right line. You can make use of that argument. So I can say args of 0. All right. So I'm saying whatever args was, whatever argument is coming into this main program, I can do something with it. But here's the good news, we don't even need that for now. So I want to show you that Here, this is also optional. You can remove it from your program. Your program can still work well. Chelsea messed up. Just want to put a print statement. And then I'm going to just F5 this. And as you can see, it's running perfectly well without having args and args string of array called args. So it's an optional parameter, and that's what we are saying in this place. So you can read through again. Main function. I've explained to you what main is all about. Distinguishing cases is very important in C#. So in C#, you want your classes, the name of your classes to be capital letters, and the name of your methods to be capital letters. However, your variables should be lowercase letters. All of these things are best practices. However, you may choose not to do them. I strongly advise you do them. It makes your code neat and people can understand what you're working on. So again, you can read through that. Keywords. These are basic keywords in C#. Again, some of them are familiar to you from Python. All right, like if is familiar to you. You know what if is? Do in this language double, so that's for floating point numbers, that's double. New is for new instantiation of objects, but I'm going to explain that to you later. Objects, data types, if statement, else, continue. So these are keywords, all right? Just take your time to have a look, but we are going to attempt to use this one after the other, all right? So let's look at operators, okay? Excuse me. Operators, there are different kind of operators. Of course, you know operators in Python. So we have arithmetic operators, which is your plus, minus, multiply. Assignment operators, which is your equal to. Just like in this language, you have many more assignment operators, like times equals, plus equals. You have comparison operators, like less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than, equal to, not equal to. You have logical operators, which are compare logic, which are like and, or, and not. Binary operators, which are almost like comparison operators, but they operate only on binary values, which are bits, 0 or 1, all right? They have type conversion operators. So if I have something in a type, I don't take it to another type. But we're going to see examples, all right? So here are the operators and how they look. Just gonna, let me collapse this panel. All right, so arithmetic, like I said, minus, plus, multiply, division. Plus means plus 1. The one with the percentage sign means mode operator, and you remember what mode operator is. That's the remainder division. Minus means decrease by 1. All right. So again, I'm just going to show you a quick one. So I'm going to say I have an integer a that is 10. I'm going to say a minus. All right. So a should be 9 now, and I'll say right line a. And I'm going to F5 it. When I say F5 it, it means I'm going to run it. So you can see the answer is 9. So it works perfectly well. All right. That's minus. Plus is adding 1 to it. Plus is adding 1, and all of those things follow. So if you practice, if you check these things out, they just check out. All right. Binary. So for logical operators, this is AND. So like you remember our truth table from 1A, true and true is true. True and false is false. True or false is true. All of those things, these are the operators you can use to check them out. So this is AND. These two poles are OR. This is NOT. And this is XOR. The caret sign is XOR. All right. Binary is the same thing, just that this operates on binary. And these are bitwise operations for moving forward and backward. So for these ones right now, I just start to mention these ones. However, don't worry too much about it. At some point, we will come back to it. However, this is the NOT for bitwise operators. And these are all the operators for bitwise operators. Of course, for bit operations also, don't worry too much about it. I'll show you more about it later. Comparison operators. This is to check if something is equal to something. Not equal to is this one. Greater than, less than, of course, this ones are intuitive. And also greater than or equal to and less than or equal to. Assignment, of course, goes on. Equal to plus equals. Let me show you what I mean so that you can imagine what I'm talking about. If I say A equals 10, and I say A equals A plus 5, all right, You know what that means. It means add 5 to A and run it. Okay, so I'm going to F5 this one first. I'm going to show you it's 15. All right, works perfectly well. A was 10, you add 5 to it, now it's 15. However, in this language called C#, this fantastic language, you can do something like A plus equals 5, all right, without having to repeat A twice in the expression, all right, and you're still going to get the same thing. So this is also seen as one of the, as you can see, it's 15, works perfectly well. It's also seen as one of the assignment statements. So I'm going to move on. Yes, we're back here. So the same way you can plus equals, you can minus equals, you can multiply equals, like you might have guessed. Minus equals is remove, multiply equals is multiply whatever A was, and you can try all of these operators out. You can ignore the ones that are for bitwise operators, like these ones, and try out all the other ones. Then we talk about the bitwise operators later. Plus is for concatenation, typecasting. Again, this part, I'm going to come back to this when we really need to. Okay, so that's pretty much it. In the next video, I'm going to then, okay, let me just add this little part. So operators can be categorized in 3 aspects: unary operator, binary operator, and ternary operator. Just the way they sound. This one has only one operand. Operand is it operates on only one variable. An example is what I'm going to show you now. An example is, let me draw a line here so that you're not confused, is square root, for example, square root of x. All right, it operates on only one parameter called x, so that's unary operator. All right, then you have binary operator that takes 2 operands. An example of a binary operator is addition, for example. So I can say C equals A plus B. In this case, plus is a binary operator because it takes 2 operands, A and B. All right. So I can ask the question, what if it takes another operand C here? Does it make it a ternary operator? No. Anytime you pick an operator, you just look to the left and to the right of the operator and see how many operands are there. Operands are things that you can use in operations. They could be values, they could be variables, they could be anything. And in that case, you can then know what category of this that the operator is. So this is binary. All right. So then finally, you have ternary operators that might take 3 operands. So yeah, it's just basic theory. Read about it. There's what's called associativity. In C#, operators are left associative, meaning your evaluation starts from the left, meaning that in this expression, I'll first start by adding A to B, then to C. All right. However, for unary operators, they are not associative at all. Again, just read about this in their theories now. In previous years, I would normally just do assessment to check your knowledge of those things, but now since we are online, there's no point assessing those things. You might just read about it yourself. So, precedence of operators. Let me see. I'll cover this quickly before I go to my next video. So here is just, it's like BENMAS or BODMAS, whatever you remember. Remember we mentioned it. Is what operator is stronger than the other? The question of, if I had an expression that says C equals A plus B over 2, what do I evaluate first? Do I add A to B first, or do I divide B by 2 first? That's what we're trying to answer. So this is the precedence of operators. Bracket is stronger. All of these operators, plus, plus, minus, minus, are also next. Then we have multiplication, division, then mode operator before concatenation, addition, arithmetic, then follow them before all of these operators. The ones with the lowest priorities are the ands, the ors, and these ones. So I hope you remember that. So guys, in the next video, I'm going to continue with precedence of operators. I don't want the videos to be too long, so see you on the other side. All right. Bye.